Yes, hello. Probably not a discussion, but yes, there will be some reference to the previous paper. Yes, we do have a problem with wild animals. On the left-hand side, you can see road incidents with animals compared to road incidents, and the change is not even 20%. Well, the road sign which warns of wild animals. Here it is. But now moving on to the regulations on where and how this road sign should be used. This sign is to be used in places where wild animals often cross the road. But what does it mean often? Looking it up in the dictionary, it means happening many times or in many cases, but the interpretations may differ. And because we have more accidents like this, these cases end up in courts. Here's another term, they cross the road. The way it's interpreted is that it will only apply to animals crossing the road in big numbers. And this is the reason why road signs should be put up. So this is the literal meaning of the regulation. And the next word is in blue, which means may. So normally road signs will be put up at the request of, for example, the customs service. But here it says it's possible, you may. So you may ask or get information from the forest services as to what the routes of the animals are. But then the forest services, it's not clear who they are. Would it be the Forestry Commission or the National Park? We don't have any special regulations for that road sign. In the hunting law, perhaps, there are some requirements when it comes to wildlife management, with mayors required to secure wildlife from risks generated by regional and national roads. But the only act there is where the organizations or institutions are responsible for actually checking the situation, well, it's the inspection ordinance issued by the General Directorate for National Roads and Motorways. So I used this regulation to analyze this and see what the court decisions have been. I've analyzed several dozen of court decisions, and there are two conflicting approaches to the topic. On the one hand, some courts, and that's marked in red, some courts say that it's the road authority that it's required to study the hazard levels on the road, and it's their decision where those signs should be put up. But there are also other courts which claim that road authorities are not required to examine vegetation to see whether it attracts wildlife. So it's not set out in the law at all. Well, as you can see, these are two conflicting views on the same thing when it comes to the courts. And the conclusions are that when we plan or design road signs, we want to make it safe for the road users, and it should give you some safeguards should there be a court case. Well, first of all, you should analyze the road accident database called SEVIC. Plus, there is a high variability of the phenomenon, and foresters say that, I mean, you change the vegetation, and that changes the traffic and the routes of wild animals. So first, what you should do is get your data from national parks, from hunting clubs, from forestry commissions, etc. You also have to take into account the distance between the sign and a hazardous place. A lot of times you will see the road signs where the wooded area begins, but perhaps it should be repeated over longer sections. There's a road, I remember, where there would be a sign warning of wild animals with the note that it will be valid for the next 40 kilometers or so. And obviously drivers will only remember this for about a minute. And the next thing is consistency between the regulations. So first we have to be clear whether it's a forest section of road with lots of animals, are there frequent crossings by animals, or is there perhaps a migration route? Right, and my final slide, yes, here it is. So to recap, whether we design or assess the road signs, then obviously we have to have engineering aspects in mind, but also you have to ensure that it's legally okay. I've read several dozen of court decisions, and I found this really interesting. It would be important to make it clear who's responsible for putting up those road signs. That would make the situation in the courts clearer. And then there should be some requirements as to how many signs we want to have and how often they should be repeated over longer sections. And now that we are doing audits, we will probably be doing audits of local roads as well. Then this should also be included in the audit scope. Thank you.